BT9 Breakdown Part 5. It's time to look at the black cards. There are a lot of black cards to actually go through for this video, but again, how many of them are actually playable? Luckily there aren't any X-Antibody named Digimon, but like BT7 and BT8, we get some more X-Antibody Digimon support. Unlike previous episodes, I won't necessarily need to go over how Digivolution costs will be cheaper, but there will be definitely some more in-depth deck discussion. And as always, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more of my future content. Goromon will be the first Digimon to discuss of the Black Digimon, being a baby that also appears as a possible box topper. This Digimon has an opponent's turn inheritable that gives a Digimon plus 1000 DP if it has Blocker. While not terrible, blockers haven't felt good for the last 2 sets in North America. Black Digi-Eggs haven't had a lot of great track record of playability. Even now, I still think Pagumon is the best egg that provides card advantage while also promoting aggression. Let me know your thoughts on this Digimon if you have differing views. Bearmon joins the ranks of generic 2-cost on-play Digimon with 3000 DP. The only other ones before this Digimon being Hagurumon, Commandramon, and Jazamon. Again, not a whole lot to discuss here since these Digimon act as filler for sealed play. Dorumon, meanwhile, is another rookie target now for X-Antibody decks. On play by trashing a card with X-Antibody and its traits, draw 2 cards. In looking at X-Antibody deck lists online, this card was run in some decks at 4, others at 2, and others at none. The main use of this is to load your trash with X-Antibody Digimon for the new rare Alphamon that can utilize X-Antibody Digimon from the trash. Tapirmon is one of my favorite rookies of this set. On all turns, it provides the inheritable of giving your Digimon if it has 2 or more colors, plus 1000 DP. Because this card digivolves from red or black, this has a specific advantage with Black War Greymon and Gaio decks, which I'll cover more of in the multicolored cards. This card is also searchable with Maki Himekawa. Moving to level 4s, Grizzlymon is your generic level 4 that has a Digivolution cost of 1 with 5000 DP. It's not terrible, but black lacks a lot of searchability to make its level 4s useful. This will probably see use as a sealed card. Raptordramon adds another X-Antibody Digimon to the mix, with an inheritable of End of Attack. If this Digimon has Alphamon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. Again, I looked over several lists from Japanese metas, and did not see this card being utilized at all. The multicolored X-Antibodies are favored more than mono black. Effect-wise, 5-cost feels lackluster, and overall I'm not quite sure what 5-cost Digimon get hit. Especially if you invest all the way up to level 6, there are just better cards out there for this deck. Loader Leomon is just generic. For sealed, nothing more. I kind of wish Leomon stayed in one color, but at this point Leomon, Loader Leomons, and Bancho Leomons are in blue, yellow, green, and black. But as to why this Digimon is in this set, Daigo Nishijima's partner Bearmon was last seen as a Loader Leomon when fighting the Dark Masters, before digivolving into Baihumon and sealed away. For the second alt art in the black category, Grademon makes an appearance. Grademon is another X-Antibody Digimon that when digivolving, lets you search the top 3 cards of your deck for Alphamon and 1 card with X-Antibody. Then, you trash the remaining cards. Its inheritable is identical to Raptordramon's, but again, I didn't see it run in any of the Japanese meta lists, and at this point, there are just better ways to search with Dorumon and Ryudomon, while utilizing your level 4s and 5s with previous set cards. So far, Grademon may be the cheapest alt art in the set due to its playability. Alphamon is revisited in this set as a rare, but even so, it has an alt art that looks beautiful. This Digimon when digivolving lets you place 1 card with X-Antibody and its traits from your trash to the bottom of its Digivolution cards. In addition, your turn once per turn when this Digimon's Digivolution cards increases, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. While the main effect does let you utilize X-Antibodies in your trash, you also get to constantly de-digivolve your opponent's Digimon. And with X-Antibody being competitive, you can expect this alt art to be pricey. After all, initial release of Dorumon and Ryudomon prices were $50 to $60. Raidamon is another Digimon that, when digivolving, lets you place a Fujinmon, Raijimon, or Suijinmon from your trash to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then gain 1 memory for each card placed. This card follows elements of Ragna Lordmon, and if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Or former Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, Gate Guardian. Investment-wise, this has a lot of necessary pieces to actually utilize correctly, and in glancing at each of the other components mentioned, they're all level 6. I'm not sure overall how well this card could be utilized, but based on initial impressions, I'm not impressed. For trivia, this card made appearances in Digimon World 3. Finally, Baihumon is the last level 6 Digimon to go over, and it's also the last Sovereign to make an appearance. This Digimon lets you unsuspend up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then for each unsuspended Tamer or Digimon, gain 1 memory. End of turn. Once per turn, you can trash a security for every 2 unsuspended Digimon and or Tamers. But again, like most of the Sovereigns, I don't know how playable he is, at least until additional support is released. With Tamers, there's Daigo Nishijima and Maki Himekawa. Both made appearances in the Digimon Tri movies, which, while amazingly animated, had a poor story. Daigo Nishijima allows you to gain a memory when your opponent's Digimon is unsuspended during the main phase, meaning there's limited memory control unless your opponent is doing constant unsuspends. Imperial Dramon. Additionally, on your turn, when you digivolve into a black level 6 Digimon, it gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. This Tamer is to mainly give your Baihumon some protection for you, considering Baihumon was once his partner. As for Maki Himekawa, her partner was Tapirmon, which shows in her card text flavor. On play, reveal the top 3 cards, then add 1 Tapirmon and any 2-colored card from among them with black to your hand. If I'm interpreting the text correctly, this means she could potentially also add option cards as well, like Dark Gaia Force. This Tamer will be especially useful in Black War Greymon and Gaiomon decks, as she can reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 when climbing into a Digimon that has 2 or more colors, including black. Heavy Machine Digimon's Advance is an option card that lets you trash 1 card with Cyborg or Machine to have all of your level 6 Digimon gain Rush and Blitz. But in Security, you can just trash a Cyborg or Machine and delete an opponent's Digimon with play cost less than or equal to the trash card's cost. This card may see some viability with Machine Dramon decks for the Rush and Blitz mechanics. Kongu is the MVP of the option cards that will likely replace Breath of the Gods. This card prevents your opponent's Digimon of play cost of 7 or less to not be able to attack, and cards cannot be added to the security by opponent effects until the end of the next turn. This card hard counters recovery elements, and in combination with the new Omnimon X-Antibody, can prevent your opponent from putting their security back if you played this card first. TK Takashi and Zoe Orimoto will also be deadly if your opponent plays these Tamers if you've activated Kongu. Because TK and Zoe call to check the security, which pulls all the security out of there, Kongu's effect prevents them from going back afterward. X Evolution allows you to use the card without meeting its requirements if you have an X-Antibody in its traits in play. This basically lets you reveal 3, then one of your Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon with X-Antibody without paying the cost. Then you trash the remaining cards and place 1 X-Antibody from your trash under one of your X-Antibody Digimon as an evolution source. In a roundabout way explanation, reveal 3, digivolve into 1, and place another underneath it as a source assuming everything is X-Antibody. In Security, it's a simple search. I didn't see this card again in any of the meta lists, so it's unknown to me whether it's worth it or not. Digital Eyes of the Soul basically is RNG removal. You reveal 3, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the play cost of 1 Digimon with X-Antibody in its traits. You trash the rest, and then you place a Digimon from underneath it as a source. Again, this piece of removal is best utilized with Alphamon and X-Antibody decks. But was it run in anything on the Digimon meta site? Again, not that I saw. Kongu seems to reign supreme of all the option cards, and I have to agree that with Kongu and X-Antibody, the possibility of less hybrid decks and security recovery decks seems very close. Now for the last and final card, the secret rare, Alphamon or Yukon. This is one of 2 secret rares that also features an alt art. This is the second Digimon to have 16,000 DP, the first being Paladin mode. And the Digivolution cost for this Digimon is 7, or 3 if you have Alphamon with Oryumon in its Digivolution sources. When Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. Additionally, you can return up to 7 non-Digiegg cards with X-Antibody in their traits to the bottom of the deck to gain 1 memory for each one. Assuming you Digivolve from a super tall stack, you could Digivolve into this Digimon for free. And judging from decks online, this card is run at 3 copies, typically. There is no mono black promo to conclude this episode, as Deltamon is a multicolored promo instead. But overall, black provides a lot of support to X-Antibody and black or Greymon decks. Between these 2 decks, which one are you gearing for? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll catch you on the purple discussion next time. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.